Hey, I'm Dylan from Citrus Sun Creative, and in this video, I'm going to be walking you through the exact technical setup on how to set up your welcome flow in 2026. This is going to be your timing, your triggers, your filters, and anything technical on the setup. Now, if you're looking for an actual guide on what to include in your welcome flow, like your email templates, your subject lines, absolutely everything else, then I have a free guide in the description that you can go and grab. But for this video, let's dive in on exactly how to set this up. All right, so from this home screen in Klaviyo, and it's going to be very similar no matter if you're using MailChimp or OmniSend or something like that. So we want to come over to our Flows tab. And once we're here, we're going to come over to Create Flow. Now, for the sake of this tutorial, I'm going to build it completely from scratch. So you're going to go build your own, and you're just going to give it a name. So I'm going to give it Welcome Flow Tutorial. Okay, we don't need any tags, and we're just going to create it manually. So now we're going to select our trigger for our flow. And what a trigger is what determines who enters the flow when said trigger happens. So in this case, it's going to be when someone is added to our list. So the list that you want to select is whichever one your pop-up form is linked to. So if someone goes onto your site and they get your do you want 10% off your first order, and they go ahead and give their email, then they get automatically entered into your email list. So the list that it gets submitted to is newsletter. So, and obviously you can change that to be whatever you want. You can make an email list or something like that, but we just want to make sure that the two are correlated. So once someone submits the email address here, they get entered onto the newsletter. And when selecting your trigger, you want to come down to add it to list, and then we know it's going to be our newsletter list. So we can go newsletter. And for this re-entry criteria, it's basically whether profiles can enter this flow more than once. For the welcome flow, I recommend having no re-entry because we don't want people to be able to enter this welcome flow, get that welcome offer more than once. Now, what we want to go ahead and do is add a profile filter. So what a profile filter is it limits the flow to trigger only when specific profile conditions are met. So if someone does not meet these conditions, they will no longer be in the flow or will no longer enter the flow. So we can go and add these conditions here. And so for the welcome filter, the only profile filter that we need is what someone has done. Someone has placed an order 0 times since starting this flow, and we can go ahead and save that. So what this means is if someone opens our welcome flow and they purchase off the first email, then they're no longer going to get the rest of our welcome flow because we've already converted them off the first email. Now, this goes the same if they were on our 5th email in our welcome flow and they finally decided to make a purchase. They would be entered out of the flow and no longer receive the rest of our emails in that flow. So once we have our trigger selection, you can see it's added to list newsletter. We can confirm and save. All right, now coming in how to actually add emails to this flow. What you can do, it's very simple with Klaviyo's drag and drop editor. But basically, so you can see when someone is added to the newsletter, then we want to immediately deliver that welcome discount. So you can just come in here and drag an email in just like that. Then you would click the email, and then you can go ahead and select a template or edit an email, etc. Then we obviously want to set up a time delay between when they get the first email and the second email. And you can do that just by selecting a time delay like this, and I like to do 1 day between the first and the second email. And you would go ahead and do this for all the emails in your flow. An important action in the welcome flow and in pretty much any of your flows is something called the conditional split. And this basically means we can split up this flow based on conditions. So I'm going to show you how I like to do A/B testing for this flow. So I'm going to add it over here. And basically this would be, say I want to test the subject line of email number 1. So what I'm going to do is go select condition, and what I'm going to do is a random sample. So split it 50% so it's even, and then just save it. Then what I would do is go ahead and clone this email. And just a little tip, what I like to do, instead of having to build out every single email again, I would build out this first email, fully add in my footer, make sure the spacing is correct, and then all I would do is clone this one and then just drag it to the next one like that, instead of having to rebuild all your footers in every single email. So now that we've got this split set up, you can see here, then I would just go ahead and make this test 1, for example, name it whatever you're testing on your subject line, and this would be test 2. So 50% of people are going to get this email, 50% are going to get this one. And then we can just have this, we can just grab this like this and make it connect back here. So now you can see that, yes, they're going to get this email, boom, come down here, wait a day. They're going to get this email, boom, wait a day. And then you can just proceed with your flow as normal. And this is how I like to do A/B tests within my flows. And that is basically how you set up your welcome flow. It's very simple and straightforward. Something that a lot of people get confused on is the profile filter, like we added at the top. And because we added it at the top level, at this trigger, it means we don't have to add it for every single step. I see some people adding it on after every single email. You don't have to do that. If you've added it as a trigger at the top, no matter what happens at any point throughout the flow, if someone makes a purchase, they're going to be automatically taken out of the flow. Now, if you go onto the email settings, and I almost forgot to mention this, we want to be turning off the skip recently emailed profiles. Basically, what this setting does is if someone, say, got a campaign from you in this time, it's 8 hours, they are not going to get this welcome email from you. Now, if you're concerned about sending too many emails to your customers, rather turn off, it's called smart sending. And basically, that's what it does. It will skip recently emailed profiles. Rather turn off smart sending in your campaigns. So make sure if you turn it on, they're not going to get your campaign if they got, say, this flow email in the last 8 hours. And some people like to do this so that their customers don't get too many emails within a time period, but do not have it on for your flows. These are the most important emails that your customers or your warm leads should be getting. For example, say that you had this setting on right here, and then you had just sent a campaign to a new subscriber. They are now looking for their welcome discount, but they're not going to get it because you've just sent them a campaign. So they're going to be wondering, well, I just signed up. I gave them my email for this welcome offer, and now I don't have it. So now I'm not going to purchase. So this is so important that we keep this turned off for all our flows. All right, and that is everything I have for setting up your welcome flow, the technical side of things. Like I said, if you want to go into how to actually set it up, what you should be including, all the emails, all the subject lines to have the most effective welcome flow, then you can just go ahead. It'll be the second link in the description, and you can go and grab it for free. Now, if you're a D2C e-commerce brand who doesn't want to go through the hassle of doing all this and more, then you can go ahead and book a call with me down below.